Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Robby Satria. I am the English Department lecturer in Putra Batam University. For this presentation, I will present about my paper entitled The Standard Indonesian Language in Potret Lawas Twitter Account. This paper is to be presented in International Seminar on Linguistics, Season 5. Okay, we move to the background. So as we know that I take the social media as the object my analysis because of this following background. The first is about the development of social media. We know that it gives the contribution to the language variation widely, and we cannot deny that it already developed drastically, especially in this present time. And one of the social media platform is Twitter. It is considered as the biggest platform in social media, and mostly people use the language in the Twitter is a non-standard language, but not in Potret Lawas Twitter account. Yeah, where this account always uses standard Indonesian language. Yeah, that's why I am interested to make analysis about this topic. Yeah. So mostly in social media, people talk casually, writing with a non-formal language, but in Twitter accounts, especially for this account on Potret Lawas, they use a very standard Indonesian language. Okay, here I made about my problem statement. I made it two problem here. The first is the meaning of the standard language, and the second is the characteristic of the standard language found in the Potret Lawas Twitter account. And here I put two research questions. The first is what is the meaning of the standard language itself, and the second, what are the characteristics of standard language Potret found in Potret Lawas Twitter account. Now, this is about my theoretical framework. So there are three major features of standard language. Yeah. The first, it has to be dynamic. Second, uniformity, and the third is intelligent. Yeah. So here's the explanation. Now, the first features, yeah, the standard language has a dynamic stability properties in the form of the fixed rules and regulation, and the standard or standards cannot be changed at any time. And the second, it has the nature of intelligence. Its embodiment of the sentences, paragraph, and other larger language units express reasoning of overthinking that is organized, locally, logical, and makes sense. And the third, it has a standard of uniformity. The process of standardization, to a certain extent, the meaning of process, and informing the rules, not the uniformity of the language variety or the uniformity of the language variation. Yeah, it's based on the theory from Hassan Albi in 2003. Now, talking about methodology, we call it as a descriptive analytical method. Yeah. We are analyzing the data based on the material obtained without adding or subtracting and then analyzing it. And the data is obtained from the stages and conversation that we found in Potret Lawas Twitter account randomly. And the steps are identifying the standard language, including the meaning and the characteristic, and then classifying the features, revealing the features based on the Potret Lawas Twitter account. Now, here we go to the main analysis. The first data, it is written in bahasa Indonesia. Hari-hari bukan masa yang mudah bagi banyak orang. Kalaupun kau tak merasai keperitan yang dialami orang ramai, pastikan kelakuanmu tak membuat orang kian susah. Hari-hari ini maut menjalar tak terkendali akibat akrobat segelintir orang yang tak kenal batas, tak tahu diri. Now, based on these sentences, we can conclude that how this account use a very standard Indonesian language. Yeah. There are some features fulfilled in this first data related to the nature of intelligence, embodiment of the sentences, and also the reasoning and thinking that makes sense through all the sentences. That my first data and second data from the stages. Warung terapung di Sungai Kapuas, Pontianak, penghujung 1940-an, berperahu. Sang perniaga siap menjajakan dagangannya, sedari nasi bungkus, kue mueh, hingga kopi yang dijerang panas. Ya. Again, we can see that how beautiful the standard language used in these sentences. It shows about the dynamic and intelligence both. The word chosen very careful, clear, and cohesive. Intellectual characteristic is also identified here through the lines. Intellect, namely the embodiment in sentence, paragraph, and other language unit expressing reasoning or thinking that is organized, logical. Next, we move to the next data. In bahasa Indonesia, it is written, puluhan orang bergambar bersama di atas jembatan gantung saat Koninginnedag, hari ulang tahun Ratu Belanda di Banjarmasin 1927. Perhatikan, dari sebegitu banyak orang, hanya ada 5 anak perempuan yang ikut berfoto di bagian tepi dari arsip Tropan Museum. Now, in this first feature of standard language, namely dynamic found in these stages, not only fulfill the first feature, it also shows the nature of intelligence. Yeah. Next, to the last data, yeah. Bocah-bocah Purwokerto dari sebalik lensa jurnalis live John Florides, Desember 1945. Baju dan celana koyak compang-camping dan sebagian berbahan goni. Tubuh-tubuh kurus kering, tulang rangka bertonjolan, Indonesia merdeka yang terpotong. The stages above fulfill the first feature of standard language and the nature, the sentence, the nature of intelligence also. It embodiment of the sentence, paragraph, and larger language you need to express reasoning of thinking, which is well organized and makes sense through all the sentences. So based on the examples above, yeah, these are my conclusion. So in Potret Lawas, yeah, actually it is the account which closely mentioning the use of standard Indonesian language on its update. The social media is a means of effective and efficient communication, and the characteristic of standard language are divided into 3. The standard language variety has dynamic stability properties, has intellectual properties, and it also has to be uniformity. And all of them can be found in the Potret Lawas Twitter account. So this is the end of my presentation, and here are my references. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Yeah, thank you so much for the chance given to me to present my paper. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.